Shubham.
Hi. Hello.
I'm good. Hi, Shubham.
Hi, Jitendra.
Okay, so Krati will also join, but she is not well and she will be silent actually. Uh, yeah. Hi, Krati. Okay. So I was mentioning the same thing actually. Krati will be silent observer today. She will not be asking any question as she is not well. So what we can do, Jitendra, you can start the questions and then I'll take over after some time and then we can ask Shubham to ask any questions if he is having any. So Shubham, maybe you can start with a brief introduction about yourself first and then Jitendra will take.
Okay. So hello. I worked as a QA analyst, and there I have done manual testing, uh, API testing, and also database testing, and also having good exposure of automation testing also. So as a QA analyst in manual testing, my responsibilities include identifying test scenarios, uh, designing like test cases, reviewing them, executing them. We used Jira tool to report the bugs, and also used MySQL for database testing and Postman tool for API testing. And since like in my career I have worked on a two domain. First one is investment banking, and currently I'm working in a e-commerce domain. And throughout the both projects we are following agile scrum methodology. That's it, Ankur.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Shubham. Uh, so can you just explain like what are the modules you have tested in the e-commerce project currently which you are working on?
Yeah, so that in my project there are registration module, login module also. So then we have tests to like select, so that you all the UI test cases I have tested. Then so we are like our client is from healthcare domain, so that OSHA, that client is working to in the compliance of OSHA guidelines, so that in the USA, so that there are many tests are available. So that I worked on that also, and also for database testing. Yeah, these are some of the modules, and also payment gateway is there. So I have worked on a payment gateway testing, and also there is like add to cart functionality also there. So these are some of the scenarios where I have worked.
Okay. So in payments, what are the payment types you have worked on?
So basically credit cards also there, debit cards also there. Yeah, e-wallets also there, but I like preferably like worked on a credit card, tested payment gateway and the credit card.
Okay. So you are saying like you have only two payment types, like one is
No, no,
credit card and
they are payment types are available, like credit cards are there, debit cards are there, also e-wallets also there. And yeah, that's it. These are some of the
okay.
types.
And you worked on only credit card, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's say like uh, in credit card, like so we have multiple companies, third party which support like let's say Visa, Mastercard. These are like card types, right? So
Yes.
let's say there's a new card type,
Okay.
and that we have to integrate with that, and we have to test from the scratch. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you are the QA analyst, and you have to write the scenarios, and we have to perform all the testing activities.
Okay.
So can you just explain me like high level scenarios what you are going to test as part of that new credit card?
So basically, if new like any payment method is introduced, so that first scenario would be that integration, that it is well integrated with the website or not. And after that, if if credit card is there and payment, we are testing payment method, so that first one I'll check UI elements, all the text boxes which are accepting inputs, are they accepting all the inputs or not. the company logo and all the name spellings are correct or not. After that there is a link also, tab validation also, so that all the tab validations are working or not. After that, uh, if customer is input mentioning data of credit card, then that credit card data is encrypted or not. I'll check that. So after that I'll put for the like positive testing, we will all putting all the valid information. I will test that whether that submit after submit button, that product is buying or not and successfully verified or not. After that putting invalid information, I will check also negative scenario, if that it should not all the appropriate message or warning message should be there. Also on in invalid information, I'll put like expired credit card information or wrong CSC code also there. And after that all I will check for after by keeping internet off, or in the middle of the transaction keeping internet off, what how system behaves. And also session time is there. So if that I will check by keeping system idle for 2 to 3 minutes, what happens with the system, if that transaction is happens or not. So these are some of the high level scenarios I will check.
Okay. So how you are validating whether transaction is happened or not? So let's say you given all the correct data there, okay,
Okay.
and you completed the payment, right? So how you are validating after that whether transaction was failed or it was false positive kind of thing, or how you capture that transaction, where you can see that?
Okay, so that to any tester is testing that payment method, he should knows that how payment gateway actually works, what are the acquirer bank, issuing bank, and also credit card association, credit cards association, and there is an entity called payment processor, merchant bank accounts. These are some of the information should tester have, so that if if that scenario happens, if customer enters the information and all the valid information he enters, and still he he doesn't get any confirmation message. So basically if money is deducted from that issuer bank, then the issue with the might be acquirers bank, so that we can request payment processors to if at their end transaction happens or not, if they get any confirmation message or not, so that we can capture transaction like that. If issue basically root cause analysis, like where the actually payment got stuck.
Okay. Can you give me one example of payment processor?
Yeah, so PayPal is there. PayPal has their payment processor also, and their payment gateway also. Braintree is there.
Braintree, okay. Any other thing? Any other example?
Adyen is their payment processor, and
Okay.
also
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so, and right now you're working in e-commerce project, right? So I asked like what are the modules you have tested? So
Okay.
you mentioned like sign in and registration. Okay.
Yeah.
So as part of, let's say, we are going to test the registration form, or let's say registration page.
Okay.
So what are your high level scenarios?
So that again first it's tester's responsibility to check all the UI test cases, test scenarios, like all the test like all the inputs, all the text boxes which are accepting inputs there, so
Mm-hmm.
they are working or not. There we can use various test black box testing techniques like boundary value analysis and equivalent class partitioning, and so that and after that we have to test like positive scenarios if it accepting like a customer's name field is there, and after that age information is there, after that birth, so that there are many radio buttons, accordions, paginations are there, so that we have to validate on all the elements. After that registration tab is working or not. After that if he registers sign up successfully, then for sign in there is a like so we have got confirmation message or not, that he has successfully registered or not. So these are some of the high level scenarios I will check.
Okay. Uh, just now you mentioned one point like boundary VBA and equivalence partition, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain me what is that?
So these are basically black box testing techniques, and we use that for the input domain testing. And the basically advantage of that techniques using is that we can reduce our test cases number, and we can precisely like and in the very less time we can check, we can validate the whatever we want to validate. And so that first one is a boundary value analysis. So if like I will give example, so that in boundary value analysis what happens, that if there is a text like any text box is there, it is accepting any input from like on our website there is a age input, and uh, it is allowed from 18 to 35 age only. So that there to check that input text, we can we whatever the data we have, we can classify them in the equivalence class partitioning. And to test that we can use boundary value analysis. In that we can check for the 17, which is the minimum like age, minimum minus 1, so it's a invalid data. After that I will check on the boundary for 18 also. I will take any input from between 18 to 35, any 31 or 2. And after that I will again check for 35, and which is maximum input. And after that I will check for maximum plus 1 input, that is 36. And so these are some of the like scenarios I will check, and with that I will validate that whether it is working or not. And what happens in equivalence class partitioning is that we create the data which is and we classified it into the invalid data and valid data, so that if any like text like accepting input from like 50 to 100, so then we can classify that input into the various classes. For example 1 to 10, or 1 to 49, and 50 to 100 which is the valid data, and 1 to 49 is the invalid data. And again for the maximum 101 to 500 is the and we can also vary that size of that classes, and we can validate whether it is working properly or not. So this is basically equivalence class partitioning.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have mentioned you are sending daily a status report to the test lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I know like what kind of report you are preparing on daily basis?
Okay. So that we have a two scrum calls, like we can say scrum calls. So in morning we have scrum call to like what we have to do, and in the evening when everyone like completes their user story, whatever the work they have done, so we will update it on a Slack that whether it is done or not. So these are the something like what I have done in a day. Like these are the reports I send it to the test lead.
Okay. I thought like you are preparing some kind of test report. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Can you explain me like what the difference between the retesting and regression testing?
So basically the difference between so first regression testing retesting is that when we get a defect resolved from the developer, so we retest it with the various information and 2 to 3 times, so that we only like we have a attention only that defect only, what is whatever the defect was resolved on that. And in regression testing, along with the retesting, we also test impacted modules, which are the impacted modules along with that defect, and whether that so this is basically the difference between retesting and regression testing.
Okay. Okay. Uh, can you tell me difference between uh, priority and severity
Yeah,
with it?
with should I give example?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
okay. So that first one is a priority, and priority tells us that how soon we should that resolve that defect, and severity tells that how much that defect is impacting the functionality. So that there would be four scenarios, like high level, high priority, high severity, low
Okay.
priority, low severity. So
Uh,
that yeah.
yeah, yeah, sorry to disturb. So, just can you give me one example like low priority and high severity?
So that in the low priority, what happens that whenever we got that type of defect, it is not like it is impacting that functionality like much, so that we have given it as a high severity, but it is not that important, so that we can give it as a low priority. So that example would be that many areas in our web based applications are there in the bottoms, like links whichever where the usual customer do not visit regularly, or do not visit much. So that if that any one link like about if there is about us or something link is there and it is not working, it is like after clicking on it, it is not navigated to the expected like page. So that in that scenario we can say that we can give it as a high severity because it is not working properly at all, and we can give it a low priority because usually customers do not visit there, so that we can fix it in the like meantime. Okay.
Okay. Do we have experience in mobile app testing?
Yeah, not hands-on experience on mobile because we are working mainly on web-based application, but I'm aware about that.
Okay. Okay. Next is you have mentioned automation testing. So, what are the things we are doing in the automation testing?
Mm, Basically, I do not like hands-on on automation also, but I know about the framework, and I can like edit the code for like locate to find the locators from like XPath, and also these type of basically work I can do. And I studied
Okay.
automation, but I haven't got chance to like do fully automation.
Okay. Okay. Understood. And in API testing, what tool you use and what kind of testing you do?
So in API testing, we basically worked on GET request. By fetching the data, we validate the response code, whatever that is response body and status codes, and by that we validate the result.
Okay. Can you tell me like what are the types of response codes?
Types of response code, so that status code basically.
Like status codes.
So there is a 200 series is there, so it's a successful, it denotes successful response. After that 300 series is there, it is for I guess re and so 400 series is there, it's for uh, a client side error, and 500 series is there, so there it's a server side error. And
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned about database testing also, right?
yeah,
So, are you using any tool or you are just validating the database? using MySQL?
Yeah, we just be using, like, we mostly use select query, not much more than that.
Okay.
Like,
Now, uh, I think I'm done. Maybe Ankur, you can carry forward from now.
Sure, thanks, Jitendra. So, Shubham, you mentioned like you just started learning automation, but your resume is saying some other things. It is saying like you have tremendous experience in automation using Selenium with Java and lot of parallel testing and all. So, are you comfortable if I ask any question related to automation, or you feel like it's just the basic knowledge you have right now?
no, I have studied on that automation whichever I mentioned on the resume, so you can ask me.
Mhm. Okay, that's great. So my first question, you have mentioned like knowledge of handling synchronization,
Okay.
implicit, explicit, and fluent weight.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between fluent and explicit weight in Selenium?
Yeah, so that basically the difference between explicit weight and fluent weight is that explicit weight is like tells the WebDriver to wait for the expected condition to occur, and after that it will throw the no such element exception. And what fluent weight does, it goes ahead with the from explicit weight is that it waits for the like condition to occur also, and also it can check with the frequently, like we can mention that polling frequency, and after that it will check how frequently that element occurs or not, or whatever we want to validate. So this is basically the difference between both weights.
So you are saying if I will put a 10-second wait for as an explicit wait,
Yeah.
so it will check after 10 seconds or it will check within 10 seconds also.
No, it won't check within 10 seconds. Explicit wait won't check. It will check after that 10 seconds, but in like uh, fluent wait, it will check for every 10 seconds, whatever we times mentioned. So this is the basic
Okay.
idea.
Okay. So you have mentioned knowledge of Maven. So can you tell me like the life cycle of Maven? What is the life cycle? So first of all, maybe you can tell why do we use Maven, and then you can tell the life cycle of Maven.
So basically, Maven is a build tool. So no, we used and for the Maven build life cycle is that there are phases where so first one is a mm, we validate validation is there. So sorry, I am not recalling it now. I know that Maven build cycle. I'm not
Okay. No issues. No issues. No. So coming to Java tools concept actually.
okay.
So you have mentioned inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction,
Yeah.
and collection and string also. Okay.
Okay.
So can you tell me what is polymorphism?
Yeah, so that polymorphism is nothing but it denotes many forms, and it has a two types. First one is a method overloading, and second one is a method overriding. And first one is a compile time polymorphism, and second one is a runtime polymorphism, and the example of that is method overloading and method overriding. What happens in method overloading is that we have two methods with same name but different arguments, like parameters are there, different parameters are there. And what happens in method overriding is that we get a superclass methods, and we can uh, edit or we can say that edit into the subclass classifications. So this is nothing but the method overriding. And in what happens in compile type polymorphism is that method definition and declaration binds together in the compile time, and in runtime it happens during the runtime. So that these are basically, this is nothing but the polymorphism.
Okay. Have you ever get the chance to implement runtime polymorphism in real life or no?
No.
Okay. Okay, my next question is, you have mentioned page object model. So my next question is, what is the difference between page object model and page factory?
So basically page object model is a design pattern. Okay, so that in that we can in the framework we can design our framework, so that we and page factory, uh, in the page factory is there is a annotation find element, and there is a init element. So so by using that we can page page factory basically is a class, or and in that there is a annotation find by element, at the rate find by element, and we can use that, and yeah, that's it. So basically
Oh,
page object model is a design pattern. Yeah.
okay, okay. Next question is, just write a query to insert a new record in a table. So table name is employee, and insert your name and maybe city in the table.
Okay, so
Yeah, just write it in the chat box.
table name is employee.
Hmm. When did you join Gamma Stack?
What's up?
When did you join Gamma Stack? Recently or?
Yeah, recently, just 2 or 1.5 months.
Okay, insert into employee.
Like table name, and after that can you tell me again that query?
Just insert a new record with
Okay,
the name and maybe city for yourself. Column name is name
okay, okay.
and city. Or let me paste the table for you. Just a second. Say this is the table. So name, age, and city. Say first row is Rupa, age is 10, and city is Hyderabad. Similarly, you just insert a new record in this table with your name, your age, or your city, and the table name you can consider as employee.
Okay, so that
Or you can tell also like what you are thinking or what you are trying to write.
so just insert into employee where column name like name is equal to Rupa and city is equal to Hyderabad.
What was the question actually? Can you repeat the question? I just wanted to make sure you understand the question clearly.
So that we have to mention into a new record, insert the new record into the employee table where name of employee is Rupa and city is equal to Hyderabad.
No, I ask you to insert a new record in this table with your data.
Okay, so my it should be my name.
Yes. Have you ever used where clause with insert statement, insert one, or
No, I mostly use a select query, so that here we can use like set a name is equal to Shubham, and city is equal to Pune, where city name is equal to Rupa and city is equal to Hyderabad.
okay, okay. I think you still not understanding the question. I just asked you to insert a new record. That's it.
Okay,
Don't think about.
okay, so that we do not want to delete any record in the existing table, we just want to insert new record. Okay, so that we can directly mention where name is equal to Shubham and city is equal to Hyderabad.
Their name is equal to. Okay, okay, never mind. Can you give me 5 positive and 5 negative test scenarios for a search result? Say, for example, take example of Amazon,
Yeah.
and you are searching something there.
Okay.
Say, for example, you are searching washing machine, right?
Okay.
So, can you give me 5 positive test cases that you will test and 5 negative test cases that you will cover to test this particular feature?
Okay, so that first we want like product of a washing machine, so that by putting first one is a product's name exactly, like model name, we can will vary for the positive scenarios I'm telling first. So we'll get,
Okay. Product name.
yeah, by product name. After that we can go by like by selecting category, and after that category, in that category we can select electronics, like any, and after that by putting washing machine, by selecting washing machine there, so that we will validate that whether we get the right product or not, or suggestions of like that all the washing machines we get. After
That
that
is category. One
yeah,
is product name, one is category.
yeah, second one is a category. After third one, directly mentioning in the search box of washing machine, we can validate whether
Search what you are saying.
what hello.
Searching by just you are saying like okay, washing machine you will put directly. The word washing machine you will search,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and we should
Okay.
get relevant suggestions, if, and we should not get many suggestions also, and too much less suggestion. We get like relevant numbers of suggestion, whatever we get. And so after that we will like just mention WA, or like yeah, WA. So we got a we should get a suggestion of like washing soda, washing machine, like that. So I will validate also that also. And uh, yeah, these are some like positive scenarios. Yeah.
Okay. These are 4
Yeah.
are. That's what are the negative scenarios you will cover.
So for the negative scenario, I will put like any sign into the which are meaningless, like only signs. And by putting search uh, box, we should not get any suggestion. After that any product's name, like mm, mm, after like by mentioning the wrong spelling of that product only. After that we check, we should like we get a suggestion or not. And only incomplete spelling of that product, or by that we can check. And after selecting a wrong category, any wrong category we can select, and we should not get that suggestion, like by selecting any clothing brands, and we should not get like suggestion of washing machine. So these are some of the negative scenarios I will validate.
Okay. Okay. How will you test a particular button on your website that is getting enabled only for 5 minutes in a day? So say every day 10 a.m. it will be enabled, and at 10:05 it will be disabled. So how will you test it?
Okay, so that for the positive testing I will here we can use a boundary value, like on the 10 am exactly and on the 10.5 we can check on both times whether it is it should be.
So, so if I ask you to test it at 10:30 a.m., you will wait for 24 hours and then reply to me or like come back to me next day only. Any other way you can think of we can test it?
By doing like inspect elements, can we do it?
So at 10:30 it will not be available actually under inspect element also.
Okay. It would be live in our environment we can do it by the like.
How in your environment, how will you do it?
Okay, so I haven't experienced that scenario yet, like in the timing, but we can ask to the like technical team to do it for us to test, like
To
those,
make it available for
yeah, those who are setting the environment, we can ask them to like to test, we have to test that button and we can tell them.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Uh, my next question is, say you are trying to upload a picture on Facebook,
Okay.
but it's not your profile picture, but it's not getting uploaded.
Okay.
So can you tell me the debugging steps that you will take before raising the bug to the development team?
Okay, so that first like I will check if it is like cross browser testing issue or not by checking on the other browsers. After that we'll check that how much kbs or mbs that allowed on that Facebook page to upload, and I will check that image whether it is fulfilling that criteria or not. mm,
Okay.
and after that there might be server issue also from the site of Facebook also, so it could be the same. Yeah.
How will you check that whether it's a server side issue or not?
There is like 404 error we can get.
404 errors are from server side or it's a client side? 400 is for client side.
Yeah.
If you are sending some wrong information or something,
Okay,
or you are looking for some wrong URL or something,
so
so that is
so
client
sorry,
side error.
it's like 500 series error.
Okay. How will you check 500 in browser?
Okay, and also like there might be any operating system issue also. I will check on the other device also, or other browsers combinations whether it is uploading at that time or not.
That you already mentioned, you will check the browser as
Yeah.
the first point, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned like you will check whether there is a 500 error. My question is like, how will you check 500 from browser?
Oh, like we can't check browser on browser that response code na.
Okay, okay. No issues. My
And
next question is
yeah,
if, yeah, carry on, carry on.
so also that page form, like if it is a png or if it is a like jpeg format, and what that Facebook is accepting and what that image consists of. So this could be also a reason for not uploading it on the Facebook.
Okay. My next question is, say if you have reported a bug
Okay.
and development team is not fixing it, they are saying like it's not a bug. How will you make them understand, or like how will you compel them to get it fixed?
Okay. So that to make sure that first I will test it on my machine also, and also some like colleagues machine also, whether it is really a bug or not. Then I will raise it on a Jira to tag a developer, and after that still developer is not accepting it as a bug, then I have to provide the evidence of some like screenshot we can provide, or within by taking live meeting, by giving access, by sharing screen, we can um, reproducing that bug into live, so that it must not be the environment issue. So, and it should reproduce to the developer also. And if still that developer is not like accepting that as a bug, then I'll escalate to the test lead, and product owner, test lead, they will decide that whether that product owner has a like authority to, they will decide that whether it is really a bug or not.
Okay. And what will you do if you are getting too much work? You are overwhelmed with work. Say the recommended hours of working are like 8 to 9 hours on daily basis, right?
Okay.
But say if you are having total 15 hours work since last 1 week, what will you do in that situation?
So this situation might there might be a reason for the heavy workload. If any like release is on soon, we have to release any build, and it's going on since we can, it just will end in 2 to 3 days, then I should work, and I should take that workload. It's not a big issue. But if that happens with like frequently, like too long, like 4 to 5 weeks, till then I have to like, I can tell my test lead that how it is decreasing my like capacity to work, and how like I'm losing uh, my like concentration, because prolonged work hours, it will definitely harm my work life balance, and I can uh, do properly work also, and in like my personal time also. So that by taking the appropriate time, I can do focus, and I would be more productive, I can tell. And that's it.
Okay. Say if the case is opposite, scenario is opposite. If you are having only 3 to 4 hours work on daily basis since last 1 week,
Okay.
what will you do?
Okay, so that I can utilize that time into like by organizing like KT or something, by asking to senior resources. uh, mm, that are some of the ways to utilize the time. And I would be asked that my future user story also, please give me now, and I will work on it, if that mm, no. And usually this not happens in like real time scenario, because test lead knows.
Why do you think so? It will not happen?
Because every time like
Never.
yeah, our test lead knows that how much like estimation is there, and we can, how much we can do it time, so that it is always like. And
Actually, is the devil here. Actually, he will track each and everything if he is sitting idle or not, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's a good perception. Okay, so my next question is, what can you tell me an initiative that you have taken recently, and if not recently, maybe in last 1 year in your company, to make the QA process or anything from testing perspective, or not from testing perspective, maybe organization perspective, that you have taken and uh, get it implement, or like maybe showed some POC, anything that you did, or whatever the test lead is assigning, you are just doing your best for that particular thing.
No, yeah, in actually beat like in my previous organization, like it's not particularly my personal suggestion, but we discussed with each other, and we like suggest to the test lead that what whoever the junior resources might be, and also uh, like as a some like mid level experience also we have, so that all the members, if there is a time, like sometimes on Friday we get a time, in a week sometimes we get a time, so that on that day we can organize sessions like KT sessions, whoever has a unique any tool experience, or so that he can talk with, and some whoever has got a time and whoever can attend that session, they will attend, and so that we followed that process many times. We did that, uh, and in that only I got that exposure of automation also. Like I asked a question that what is exactly the automation. So those processes which do not understand and which do not have exposure, we can understand through that sessions, so that it actually was a very beneficial and good initiative.
Okay. Okay. My last question is, you are reporting to Jitendra,
Yeah.
and ping him over Skype or Slack, whatever tool you have used for communication,
Okay.
and he is not replying to you since morning,
Okay.
and it's something like urgent that you want to discuss with him. What will you do in this case?
Okay. So that um, if Jitendra is a developer, then I will ask like to another developer. If Jitendra is not contacting, then it must be something like serious issue, anything is, or
So Jitendra is not developer, but you pinged him for something and he did not reply. So that's the situation. So you are saying like there might be something uh, happening to Jitendra, or like
or any
he
personal issue, or might be anything that so that he's not replying.
so you will wait, or like you will take any other action.
If there is a like scenario, if we have a release and I have like issue of bug and I have to talk with him urgently, so that I have to escalate to someone other for the like benefit of organization also, and it would be beneficial for all the team also, that to, because after that will only Jitendra himself uh, would be talk like that, why you can't go someone to other, so that that's it. And if there is a issue which is not so serious, that we can I can wait for him.
Okay, okay, understand. That's all from my side also, related to interview questions. Maybe one general question: where are you